for the longest time, most of the people that did missionary work were white people. Mm-hmm. And some of those, I think someone has proven that when you look at a good amount of the good property that's owned or whatever good business deals that's happened, it's by white people. So now the black people have woken up to, oh my goodness, we can sell Jesus and make so much money of it. And guess what? Africa continent is wide open. Let's go convert those people. Or while there, hey, tap into some of the resources that are available that may not have already been taken. So is there an ulterior motive? I don't know, because I don't know people's heart. Only God knows that, who that preacher is. If the preacher is white, and let's look at the history of black people, period. We tend to not work with each other to start out with. And when the white person comes into the midst, all of a sudden we're kissing up. So now we have, let's say the white person now, because of this faith-based initiative, decides to go to Africa and evangelize the people. Well, of course, whatever it is that we have kind of let sit in our psychic now allows us to let this person do whatever he feels is the right thing to get that person converted. We don't like each other. And I think because we don't like each other, we are going to be open to whatever somebody else is saying or doing. I mean, look at the Jewish people. I mean, they're tight. They help each other. But we have this crab mentality of pulling each other down. So therefore, that white person comes, we're going to do whatever it is that is now going to not be against, for you, my brother. I always
advantage of the division.
Right. I mean, for me, Africa has enough issues with the preachers are already there, who are just, Jesus is the bestseller. I have this joke. I was on a plane coming from Baltimore to Atlanta, sat next to a Jewish person, and he asked, "Oh, are you Christian?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm Christian." He's Jewish. Are you Christian? He says, "No, I'm not Christian. But I have a girlfriend who's converted to Judaism." And he says, that Jesus, you have to give it up to him because, he's a serious businessman. I said, "No, how do you put Jesus a serious businessman?" He goes, "Well, why don't you think about it? How many business people 2,000 years ago had a product to sell and people are still buying it in droves today?" He said, "That's a serious entrepreneur." I need to go out and purchase. I mean, what do they do with all these ties? We build big buildings. We travel. At the end of the day, who is really benefiting? I heard a preacher say the other day that, people who preach against tithes. I used to, when I came to your house, I was a serious tither. Now I don't. And I heard this preacher say, well, those people who are preaching against tithes have a serious issue in that, do you see any of them being poor? Do you see the lottery not taking anybody's money? So why is it that you can't give your tithes to the church and you have to complain about it? And I thought, well, the lottery is different. We all know that they're going to take your money and you may not get anything for it. But the church should not be functioning as a lottery. I mean, a few years ago, before our income turned the other way, thank God it's come back now. I mean, I used to be one of those people that, on our tax return, we've given $30,000 to the churches in forms of tithes and offerings. And at the point where we really needed help, because things were not going well financially at that time, my daughter got sick. Well, we had to go to the emergency room, and there was a $300 fee that came along with that. And I thought, where are the churches? I mean, yes, it was a mega church. Can I call the pastor and say, help, we need some money? I mean, given all we've given to your church, so that wasn't there. And that was, for me, the point where I decided I am not paying any more tithes to any church. I might contribute to specific projects, but I'm definitely not doing it, because until I see those churches begin to give back to the people, and not say, well, you get it. You get it in heaven when you get there. Because who knows who's going to heaven? You don't. So why can't we do church on this side I mean, if we're going to pick that Bible, do exactly what it said. How many widows are going to the churches that can't pay their rent or their electric bill? I met a woman who could not pay her electric bill, but she's sitting there telling her son, make sure you give the check to the pastor. He needs to go and, go on this evangelistic whatever. And her light is getting ready to be cut off. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure that's God's will for your life, miss. I mean, not to butt into your business, but